What does katana mean? It means Japanese sword. 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 Sword.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
You're listening to the motherfucking Nut Zone.
A certified hood classic.
Well, it's actually just the Nut Zone. We didn't get the clearance for motherfucking.
That's true.
But that's the
We'll
place.
We did become a certified hood classic.
Yep.
No, not yet. That's the goal, though. That's the goal. That's why we did this, to become a certified hood classic. Isn't that right?
Well, after the unrest of 2020 with the racial reckoning that our nation came to, we realized that as 6 white guys, we really had a lot to add.
We have the answers, frankly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna heal the world with comedy, just like Bo told us.
So the original name for this podcast was the Jorts Floyd Memorial Podcast, but we
That
were
was
told by
not.
our
That
lawyers
was never the original name.
that
It was the agreed
It
upon.
was.
Everyone
that
agreed
was
on it.
not
was the
the
was
one that we were
not.
going to go with.
No, we were gonna go with we should start a podcast because that was a running joke, right? That we were gonna start a podcast and we never did it.
So
I'm pretty
everyone
sure it was
loved
George Floyd.
It doesn't make any sense.
Jorts Freud.
You know, like
Sigmund Freud.
That's our
like Sigmund
psychology
Freud. Yeah,
podcast.
it's George Freud.
Yeah.
And you can find that in the merch store.
Also in the
Again.
Patreon.
Again, we're working on setting that up still. One of these weeks, we're gonna get that store
We'll
up
get
and
it.
running.
You're gonna buy so much shit, buddy.
We can do it. We just don't have the audience yet.
Yeah, we're waiting
we
for the
can-
audience.
That's part of the
first.
problem.
So basically, if you're looking to buy something from our merch store and it's not online, like literally, if we get a single message from anyone, we'll set it up.
Yeah, we'll make it.
Like
Yeah,
you have the power.
Yeah, this is a give and take relationship. You got to do a little bit so that we can do a little bit.
Only you
that,
can make
though.
this more work for us.
All you gotta do is email the nutzone2@gmail.com and you can blame Ben for it being 2.
Yeah, not the original Nut Zone, by the way.
That's the
why?
second one.
Why is it 2?
Because
'Cause
that's
the
what
first one
Ben
was
chose.
taken. Fuck you. First one was taken. I put a 2 at the end.
Why didn't you do like
What
why didn't you do like
podcast, for example,
the Nut
Steve,
Zone
or
podcast.
PC?
I
I
think
was just
probably
gonna get
would've
there.
been.
Why didn't we table it and go like,
There-
hey, we
yeah,
could
there
do
was
the
like
Nut Zone
no
podcast.
discussion
We could do
whatsoever.
we could do TNZ business or whatever.
Incorporated.
TNZ inquiries.
I'm gonna be real with you, dog. I
is
don't
it
think
too-
it matters.
I think
What matters?
yeah, we'll workshop. It's not too late. We'll just change that. It'll be fine.
It's definitely too late because
we're
it's
gonna
already connected to
workshop
the
it.
YouTube.
We
we'll
could go
workshop
ahead
it.
and live workshop this because I'm wondering if there's another way to set up like feedback to get solicit feedback from people. Like an easy way.
Let's make a Reddit post.
Technically, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say we should all post our personal cell phone numbers on there so that way they can reach
Okay.
us directly.
We'll give them
Yeah.
your social security number too, just to make sure that we can
Mm-hmm.
get really
I
involved.
like it.
I was
Can
gonna
I,
say though, we could make another email address that makes more sense and just have that redirect to the Nut Zone 2 and then get all the emails that
Oh,
way.
that sounds like a mess.
Not really.
Yeah, that sounds like
That's
that
just
sounds like people should
read-
just type out the 2 at that point.
Redirecting our emails from one to
It's just
another.
It's
called
like-
auto
Yeah,
forwarding.
it's like one button.
Yeah.
And it's just they put in that email address and it just goes to ours. It doesn't. It's a one button thing. It's not a big deal. We're gonna workshop that. All these things are getting hammered out as we go.
We got another thing that needs to be workshopped, and it's the fact that the nutzone.com is taken. I thought we had that on lock in the sense that I thought it was available.
Oh.
Someone who is literally selling nuts took it, and
Huh.
it's up.
Did-
And
Didn't
That's
we?
not us.
I'm pretty confident that we got on that. Okay.
so I didn't buy the domain because
Who's
we
buying the
weren't
Nut
really
Zone?
doing anything,
Oh.
And who's going to buy the fucking nutzone.com?
This
No, I
guy,
know.
This guy.
Yeah, this
cracked the
guy.
shit. They got.
Hey, this looks kind of tasteful.
slogan
I'm
It's
gonna
and
be
like a
everything.
honest.
See,
legit
they-
site, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a squirrel down here.
I could
This
get
is a
10%
person
off
who
my
has
first
finished
order.
workshopping and is now executing.
Yeah, they're following their dream of like being the best nut salesman around.
Hold
Yeah.
on, dude. jortsfloyd.com is available for
Well,
42 cents
I
a
think-
month.
I
We're
think
taking
our
it off the
pivot.
That's a deal.
We're taking it off the
We're
table.
pivoting.
I mean, we have to stick with the nut zone at this point.
Yeah, we're locked in.
The
So-
logo's made. They don't have as good of a logo. I'll tell them
That's
that much.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
They've been offering specialty food since 2017. Where are they from? I
Yeah,
wonder.
that's bullshit. What the hell? They just they for sure made the site in 2021.
Listener, you can go ahead and navigate along with us here. Just,
They haven't finished it yet. I'm looking at their About Us page. It says, I'm a paragraph. Click here to add your own text and edit me. It's easy. Just click edit text or double click me.
It's a Wix site too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not supposed to be up because look, down in the need help section, they have a fake phone number. I don't know if that email address is real.
Yeah, this shouldn't be up. You're right.
Listener, why don't you go ahead and just email these people and just kind of ask them what's up? Because I mean, we'll do it
backup,
but we need backup. We need some shooters. We
they
need
only have
people
one product
who aren't afraid to catch a charge.
A couple.
Defending their
favorite
podcast.
Is it just the hazelnuts? No, they got smoked Virginia bacon.
Where's that?
Holy shit!
I clicked on just nut. They have one kind of nut.
Many of the
it's
links are broken.
The nut zone, and they only have roasted hazelnut kernels.
I'm sorry, who's buying bacon, olives, or brie cheese on the internet?
Yeah,
not
that's pretty cringe.
Not from Amazon either.
You can get bacon from Butcher Box. That's
okay,
on
but
the
that's
internet.
different. That's like a trusted. I'm saying more like you're buying it from a source that isn't like an established thing that sends a lot of meats and stuff that needs to be cold out in trucks.
Well,
it might be just a kid's high school project at this point.
It could be, yeah.
I think we'll need to get in touch with them. But speaking of websites, the world's largest website was down for like 6 hours today, and everyone lost their mind.
Thank God, I loved it.
Yeah,
I didn't notice it.
Well, I mean, if you like actually have to work, you probably don't. But most people, find themselves going on Facebook every now and again, and then they notice that. But yeah, it's suspiciously came on the heels of the whistleblower. I don't know what exactly was whistleblown, but saying that Facebook wasn't doing enough to combat misinformation and hate speech on their platform. That was the charge. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Not news to me. I feel like literally just news media outlets wanted to pick it up, even though they do the same bullshit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that on this issue anyway, all of us are just kind of like sniffing out some bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody's willing to take the other side on this one, which I think kind of says something about the state of America really as a whole. Like, there's like on the one side you've got news media and those kind of outlets that like have their own set of issues that they care about, and they're not relevant to like 98% of people.
Yep.
People are starting to realize, or I guess they're starting to get fed up with that sort of news media conglomerate shit, right? That's just feeding you the same kind of nonsense week in and week out, and kind of just trying to corral you into this, little corner where they can keep an eye on you. Big media, wake up.
Big media. I mean, I agree though for the most part. Did you guys see the like top 10 topics on Facebook? Some dude like released the list, and like 7 of them were like mostly like right-leaning topics that would like get pushed to people, and that was part of the thing they were complaining about in the whistleblowing thing. But like 3 or 4 of the 10 were just solely dedicated to cat pages.
Of course.
People
That's
like
the way
cats,
it should
man.
be.
I don't get it.
It was like,
do we have to like finally just go ahead and rehash out the cat versus dog?
No.
I just wanted to.
We don't get super passionate about a whole lot of things, but cats versus dogs, man, we'll
that's a hot
that will literally
here.
destroy the rest of the podcast.
Yeah,
so we need to hold on to
mood.
that one.
Yeah.
Look it around.
That's a finisher topic right there, and we just end screaming.
Yeah, we're just they just hear yelling
cut
from all of us, and then it just cuts.
You gotta drop a flatline sound effect in, and then just cut to black.
Yeah.
Well, our current listeners might not know, but I mean, the Nut Zone basically started like half of the episodes ended in some sort of animal discussion.
Yeah.
If I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, I mean, half the ones we recorded prior to the Lost episodes, that era, that timeline, there was lots of animal talk. Because it was like, what do we do? Like aggressive breeds. We'd had this at least a half an hour discussion on that.
But the whole thing about pit bulls and like bad owners and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll release those someday.
Yeah. Then you can realize not only does Nick hate black people, but he also hates pit bulls.
Any current or future employers listening to this podcast is a work of satire. None of anything I say is can be used against me in a court of law or in a court of public opinion.
The pit bull part is.
I will stand by my pit bull opinion.
This is all from a fictional novel that he's working on.
Exactly.
Charles, you'll need to edit in post when he says, "I stand by my pit bull opinion."
Yeah, we'll just switch her around a little bit.
I hate.
We'll get the real answers going on.
Bust off the old editing chops and ruin someone's life.
We have the power,
trying to get
just as a
canceled.
goof.
Charles, we have the power.
We do.
We can do whatever the fuck we
You
want.
Photoshop his face somewhere that it shouldn't be.
Dang.
All right,
That's
I mean,
already been
bad
done a
as
little
big
bit,
media.
a little bit too much for my taste.
Should I just
one
start,
in particular?
You
but
put
guys
it
know what I'm
out there,
talking
man.
about.
Pickle Nick.
I can also put
that
up
one's
the
fine.
picture.
I'm talking about the other one with a certain individual.
I know,
who's
yeah.
now of another.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't make me flash it. I'll do it.
I know
put
what
it
you're
up on the screen.
We don't need to get into that right now, Nick.
What I should do is just start training AIs on like the information from your guys' voice, and just start creating my own like the
podcast.
The negative of the.
Wait, hold on. Can we automate the podcast?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the dream.
We could have like
fully automated podcast.
It's like
we can fire all of us.
Superman versus like the opposite Superman, who's like evil. We'll have the nut zone, but it's all done by an AI, and we can't control it.
I'm envisioning actually Charles sitting in like a big room with one of those high top like Sopranos chairs, and like it's a cardboard cutout of each of us with a speaker cut into the mouth hole, and you're just having a conversation with yourself and the AI.
Yeah,
they have those.
And maybe you got Hank up on your lap and you're petting him.
Hank is now an AI.
I don't know if I brought this up before, but I saw him on Facebook. It was just like an ad for basically what was supposed to be a virtual girlfriend, and there were some really sad comments on there.
Ooh.
I imagine.
I also got the ad, so I was like, "That's fantastic."
Am I the target audience for this? Yeah. That does make you wonder every now and then. I think a lot of it comes down to just what you say while you're within earshot of your phone.
Yeah.
Like if you play your cards right, you can just talk about glasses all day. And like, I need some new glasses. And then you'll get advertisements for like the vision clinic and all that shit. It's like, I'm good. I have glasses. I was just saying the word out loud in public. Like, what the fuck do you want from me?
Just angrily saying fucking traffic on a daily basis. Does that count?
Yeah. You get ads for like a bus ticket or some shit.
Yeah.
There's some debate as to whether that actually is the case, but there are just like so many little coincidences that I have a hard time believing it's not the case.
They'll never admit it, dude. There's no way. Until they get caught and someone blows the whistle. Someone's got to get out there and blow. All right, who's gonna do it?
Why can't we have whistleblowing on something like actually substantial instead of like just the same shit that the news media has been hammering on ever since Trump was elected? Like,
yeah,
everybody wants to be a whistleblower.
Anything important, I mean, they're just not gonna cover because, like, I don't know. Quite frankly, they're probably well aware of it, and some dude's like, "Hey, don't report on that."
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. You don't get any of like the useful shit from that type of news anyway. You get useful shit from Reddit user something who posts a comment online. You read it and you're like, that's real news right there.
This is real.
Yeah. None of the mainstream news is real news. Like, wasn't there a big story? Maybe it wasn't a big story. It's probably brushed under the rug. But didn't like CNN or one of those big companies have like their employees out just like lying to people in interviews to get the right answer or something like that? Wasn't that a story?
I mean, that probably happens on all of them. They probably do a shit ton of interviews, and then eventually they just get the people that say the right. Like, it's the same thing when they show how YouTubers do, like, how dumb Trump supporters are. They probably got, plenty that give legitimate answers, and then they got one who still thinks Obama's president in 2020.
Right.
You know,
and it's still mad about it.
They only show the worst possible answers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interviewed 100 people and they show the worst 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's interesting in that you don't get a sense of how this is if you're online, like, because everybody is just way too tuned up and the volume is at 11 and people are about to explode out of their fucking eye sockets at all times.
Yeah.
But like most people really aren't at that level. And I feel like a lot of people forget that. Like they don't realize that most people are just kind of living their lives. It's just like everything is in the boiling pot online.
Oh,
But
yeah. I see that frequently too, because like every single day, for the most part, I'm seeing new people in new buildings, like different companies and all that kind of thing. And I've never had an outspoken debate with any of them. Granted, you're not in that situation where you're going to be doing that, but it's just a bunch of people looking to live their lives and do their job and go home.
Maybe you need to be the one bringing the fight to them.
I don't know about all that. There was one guy though, and I'm not going to get into the right or the wrong or the mask wearing mandate, but we were all in a room. I won't say where we were, like by ourselves, me and my partner, and then a programmer. So we had taken our mask off because, like, as far as we understood, if you're in the place you're working and sufficiently spread out, you can take your mask off. And a dude literally entered the room and walked up to us and said, "You need to have your mask on at all times in this building." And it's like, you didn't need to come in here, dude. Why is this an issue? You created an issue by walking in here and getting into our personal space, right? Is that not how this works?
Yeah, it's one thing if like you're in a circumstance with someone who very much believes in the, the masks and everything, and they're like forced to be in the same space with you.
Yeah.
But when you're like in a separate space, the same thing happened at my work. Like I was like walking away from my computer desk for a moment to get a drink out of the fountain. And I'm all on my own. We're at like, a quarter capacity or something because COVID. And I'm just like at the fountain and the guy passes, "You should really be wearing your mask, man." I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, like with the cloth masks, they're really like next to worthless. Like they really don't do a whole lot. It's the type of situation where if you're in like a crowded space for a brief period of time, like a subway, like sure, wear a cloth mask. But in most circumstances, when you're in a room, like in a restaurant or in some other space where you've got a lot of people around at the same period of time for like half an hour or more, they do nothing. Like this thing is it's aerosolized, it's airborne. You're not, the cloth masks are like Swiss cheese with all the holes they have. Yeah. Like it's not doing anything.
It's peace of mind because you visibly see that quote unquote barrier on someone's nose and mouth, and that just gives you peace of mind, I think. Realistically speaking, though, like I had COVID near the start of it. It's incredibly unlikely that I have not got it again. Like I with how much travel, I never stopped working or traveling around or going to different customer sites. It's incredibly unlikely that I didn't get it a second time. I just didn't realize it because you would have had the antibodies and that kind of thing. And it's just people just need to feel like they're protected, even if it's just a sort of
it's
a
more
facade.
peace of mind,
comfort
I think so.
thing. Yeah.
Which
control
the masses, man.
It takes 2 seconds to put the mask on, and then if you're walking around the building, put it on, and if you're in the space you're working in, take it off. That's how I feel about it, at least.
Yeah, I don't have a huge issue with it. My main thing is that I feel like I'm like on the spectrum somewhere autism-wise, because I just get unreasonably upset when people do things that like don't make sense, like logically.
Like wearing a mask in their own personal vehicle with no passengers?
Right, like that kind of thing.
That's so cringe to me, dude.
It's
like,
just,
I get it anywhere else, pretty much. I mean,
outside,
like I'm still
mask,
like, okay,
man.
I don't really get it, but that's fine if you want to do that. But in your own car alone, it's like it just like
windows
Hold
up
on.
and everything.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna give a counterpoint to that. I'll sometimes do it if it's like I have to drive 5 minutes and I just don't feel like taking it off to put it back on.
Yeah.
It's like a convenience,
sure.
Right, but you can just do the side saddle where you take one ear off and then you got the thing
or just
dangling
pull
down
it
side
like
side.
on your chin.
Yeah, I'll
Chin
pull it
diaper.
down.
I was
generally, but-
radicalized against the chin method, Tim, because I realized like how much like gross face oil stuff like kind of accumulates down there.
I believe it.
So that's why I don't do that. But yeah, oh my god, speaking of fucking masks, dude, it makes me so sad when I see a dude who clearly has put a lot of effort into his beard and then they have to wear this stupid little mask, and it's like, oh my god, it just looks awful. It is like the worst looking thing in the world.
Yeah. But you can't. I mean, you can't fault them for it, right? Like they have to in most of these buildings. If it's like a government building, you have to have one on. It's a Minnesota mandate, or
yeah.
I started trimming my beard down really like a lot shorter because of the mask, because it just felt awful to wear.
Yeah,
a mask
I can imagine.
Like most,
it just gets so itchy. For me, at least.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like it'll. Like if I have a mask on, it just shoves my mustache into my mouth, and you're just chewing on mustache hairs all day.
Yep.
Just yeah, trimming it, while you're, just throughout the day slowly trimming it.
You guys know the mad scientist hair, like where it's bald on the top of the head and then sticks out the sides?
Yeah.
Like
Kind of how I look like when I wear my headphones too much. When I get the headphone dent.
Yeah. Yep. The chin hair that I do have when I wear the mask and I take it off, that's what it does. It kind of all just spreads out to the sides. And I have to like spit in my hand and mush it up. I don't actually do the spit in the hand part, but I thought that sounded fun.
Charles, you could probably get the Zoomer perm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What is that?
The hairstyle where it gets all kind of like poofy and curly at the top, and then it's kind of like shaved on the sides. I don't know why. It's apparently the Zoomer.
Isn't that like
haircut.
a high top? Like, I don't get it.
Ben's posting a link. We'll go ahead and put this in.
Put that up. Yep.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see.
I'm not a huge fan of this one, boys.
I see these dudes all over.
I don't really need much to look like that. I'm gonna be honest.
Charles, I think you'd look cute AF with that haircut. Not gonna lie.
I did do that haircut for a while, and everyone told me I looked like a lesbian. So
okay, well, both things can be true, Charles.
That's what I'm saying. But
be a cute lesbian.
Be a cute AF lesbian.
Are you into chicks?
I mean, yeah, buddy.
Well, there you go. You're just broadening your horizons, brother.
Yeah.
They actually call it the Zoomer
podcast member.
Yeah.
Gotta diversify.
Guess how I start? $100 if you guess it right. Where did my journey begin?
Oh God.
Look at the size of the clit on that, dude.
It's fucking huge.
Jesus
Christ.
Jesus.
Yeesh.
Here on the Nut Zone, we believe trans lives matter.
Thank you.
Buoy.
Smoke weed every day. That one, sorry.
That was a rare misfire.
I think that's the only time I've misfired.
He forgets what button does which sometimes, I think.
Just correct it with more soundboard.
Well, the soundboard is up to a 9x9 grid now.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I want to add more. Yeah.
That's huge.
You want to need like color-coded rows.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, you gotta have you'll color code it, and then you'll have maybe red as your hot take buttons, maybe green as your reactionary buttons, yellow is your various merch alerts.
Or they're all separated and which one's really loud and which one's not very loud. The red ones are here comes the ear rape.
Yeah.
But it's good when it's a surprise to me as well as the listener.
I don't know about all that.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Big fan here.
Well, doing the soundboard is my job, but do any of you have a dream job? Has the world not beaten you down sufficiently enough where you believe the concept of a dream job is dead?
I think it's dead as fuck.
It's super
It's
dead.
a real thing. I don't think very many people have them, but
it's a real thing. It's a real thing when you're a kid, and if you were born with the right genetics and the right family, and started working on it when you were a kid, you can definitely get to that point. But there's a certain point of adulthood where it's like, you know what, I'm cool with this job. It's fine.
I mean, even not full dream jobs, but just realizing there'd be something else you'd rather do. Even that, at a certain point, becomes unobtainable or super undesirable. My example is I do accounting stuff right now, and quite frankly, it's boring as shit. I think what would be fun to do would be EMT, where you guys see people's heads blown off.
Yeah,
all
I'm good
day
on that job.
Yeah.
I
scoop
think
people's brains back in their skull and get them in an ambulance.
Oh shit, this guy lost an arm.
Damn, this
that'd
guy
be cool.
Let me
crashed his
clarify.
motorcycle.
His intent would be to save lives here.
Yeah,
Yeah, Elliot's in the back of the ambulance, like, which wire do I cut?
yeah.
Nick is desperately trying to claw his way back from smoke weed every
trying to
day.
redeem himself.
The misfire. Guys, I
But-
can still handle the soundboard. Continue, Elliot.
Where I was going with this is it'd be really cool to do that, but now that I have my accounting degree, like when you look at the pay rates for EMTs, which would be a fun job, it's just a pay cut, and there's no way around that. So it's like, yeah, you could do what you love if you don't mind making a substantial amount of money less, and it's like, I don't know, it just makes things like that not as great, you know.
Plus, you give up seniority in your field. You enter not just a new job. Like if you got a new accounting job somewhere else, you can say, oh yeah, I've got 7 years experience in this field. To go to be an EMT, it's like, oh yeah, I'm fresh off the bus, dude. Teach me. And so it's just a whole nother thing. And then the whole point of beyond that, the whole dream job thing, if you wanted to cut everything and move to fucking Hollywood and be an actor, you're giving up your job, hopefully finding a job as a server somewhere out there, paying the ridiculous fees for room and board and food out there and all that, and you still won't make it.
Yeah, because you're competing
it's incredibly
with
unlikely. The percentage of people, the amount of celebrities there are in relation to normal, I shouldn't say normal, everyone else, I guess, and athletes and that kind of thing, the percentage of high school athletes that actually go on and make it in a big major league, it's a very small percent. I don't have it in front of me, but it's a very small percentage of people.
And it's basically the 90-10, I might be getting that right, where like that might be referring to something else, but basically, like, you know, only 10% of the people are even going to be able to make it to like the next level, let alone the following level. That's probably another like 90% cut. So at that point, you're probably talking about like 1 out of every 100 people that tries to do something like that can probably make it at that level, if less.
And then you get paid $2 million a game or whatever the hell.
So
or is it a year, those contracts?
No, it's a lot.
starting
It's like 100+ million for a year.
Ridiculous.
So disregarding like the variables that real life would, you know, bring to the situation, what is everyone's dream job?
I want to make a living off my writing someday. And I think it's probably more attainable than like becoming a professional athlete or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's still really fucking hard out there because there's so much that is not actually about writing that is involved in like publishing that I just don't have the stomach for a lot of it. So
who's next?
Male gigolo in Japan.
Okay.
In Japan,
as an Anglo,
not Korea.
I think you've got an advantage.
Yeah, you can still make that happen.
White. I'm Irish.
You're white presenting.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
But just basically whatever buzzwords you hear, you could just kind of use them however.
I wanted to be a director / actor. I don't know, I've always liked film and television and all that stuff.
You want to have your fingers in
and
it.
Before I realized how awful Hollywood could be, it's not all awful, right? But a lot of it is. I kind of wanted to go out and do that, but then
this
again,
explains the libertarian thing.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
We can elaborate on our future. Stay tuned next week where we elaborate on what the fuck Ben just
Yeah,
said.
next week we're talking about our political views.
God.
That'll be the end of the podcast.
That'll be the end of the podcast.
Our final episode.
I always wanted to do like motorsports stuff because I used to go to a lot of like dirt track racing and kart racing when I was a kid, and I really wanted to do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be the next Travis Pastrami.
That's his name.
That's his name.
Always how it sounded
Charles
in my
be the
head.
next Dale Earnhardt. Let's be real.
Yeah. He would be saying doing it for Chuck.
Doing it for Chuck. The Chuck wagon.
Chuck wagon.
All right,
I came up with a bunch
I'm
of
sponsored
different
by
names for
Holiday
Charles.
Station Stores. That's the timeline. Instead of working for them, I'm in NASCAR.
Oh Lord.
At the Holiday Station Stores. Impala.
Former employee turned race car driver. Charles B.
Charles is quite the racist, so.
Yeah, that's the wrong
I
word.
do like the race.
What do you mean?
That's yeah.
What do you mean, Charles?
Professional racist.
Charles is a racist, and he's gonna win.
That's a good bit too. Someone could steal that bit.
He's
I don't know
a
if it's been done, but someone who doesn't understand that a person who like races professionally is not called a racist.
Yeah. So he's also a professional rapper too. What would that be called?
I just can't think of. Oh no!
So you won't say that one.
Yeah,
Tin Elliot, what are your dream jobs?
Well, Elliot was thinking like, I mean, I shouldn't speak for you.
Yeah, if you mean like dream job where I just get to take it, honestly, at this point in my life, I'd like to have the job Jim Cramer does, where you just sit up on Mad Money talking stonks all day.
I can see you doing that. And a bunch of people lose a shit ton of money because you get one of the words wrong or something.
Elliot's just like on his phone, like browsing Reddit half of the show.
Yeah.
Elliot just slaps the air horn and yells, "Invest!"
Invest.
Have a big
Triple buy down alert.
Doesn't he wear like white long sleeve button ups with like suspenders or something? I feel like that would be a great look for Elliot.
Yeah. And
That'd be
honestly, dude,
fantastic.
I think there's room for it because every young investor hates him. So it's like, dude, people would like it if there was a young guy who had his own TV show, maybe. I know there's a shit ton of YouTubers and Twitch and stuff.
True, because like if you think about it, that's the sort of same thing that Barstool did for sports. Because like before it was like ESPN and all of the major ones that had their like old dudes on there that were talking about sports, but Barstool really like democratized it, and then it became like even bigger in a lot of ways.
Yep.
I feel like you could do that for investing.
Yeah. All right, Tin, you're up.
Gosh, I've been like thinking about it this whole time, and I really don't have a solid answer.
Some people don't have dreams, man. It's all good.
I get dreams.
I have dreams all the time, dude.
I don't know. I guess like some professional athlete of some kind, probably dirt bike, but at the same time, I don't want to kill myself.
Golf.
Sure, golf. Yes, actually, golf.
Golf. That'd
Being
be
a
great.
professional golfer. Holy fuck.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You'd have to play so much golf, though, dude.
Yeah.
No. See, but I'd be a
game.
professional, so I wouldn't have to.
Oh,
damn.
true.
You get other people to play golf for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the paying
He's
the
so
fence
good,
thing.
they don't let him play.
You get like bus loads of women waiting for you after the game too.
Dude, Tiger Woods
And a
brewed a lot of ladies.
Guys my dad's age wanted to talk to you probably too after a golf tournament. Crazy.
Yeah.
So speaking
What
of
was going through
dreams,
your mind when you took that shot?
I have a second answer now that we brought up golf.
Okay.
Though I want to be the guy who professionally sits at the guy who would follow Tiger Woods around and be like,
Daddy?
get in the hole.
Yeah.
The ball.
Every time
the
you
yeller guy.
I want to be the yeller guy professionally in
Old
golf.
yeller.
Wait,
So
who's the
many
yellow
days
you might
guy?
pay you for that.
If you guys ever watched there's something to do. Go on YouTube and watch up like
I don't even know what
funniest
you type in.
crowds from golf or something like that, and people say some of the funniest shit
Yeah,
like
there's
when
people-
they're swinging.
Well, no, it's right after
Or,
they hit.
like,
If
right
they said
after,
when they
like-
swing, they'd be kicked out.
You mean a heckler?
Yeah, if it was during the swing,
but they say
like,
right after they hit it, so it's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as the
But
ball
they
leaves
go
the
like
face of the
Baba
club.
Booey and shit like that.
Yeah, this is basically
Do they
that.
throw that shit in there?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's funny.
I'd like to
I
hear
guess I
it,
don't
'cause
know.
that
the
was
origin of
before
it.
the
There's like
Baba
a
Booey we
compilation
hear
of the
now.
Baba Booey guy.
I'd like
Yeah,
to see that.
that
Yeah,
was
so we'll have to
OG
watch it
Baba
after the
Booey.
cast. Yeah, it was.
I'd like to be the guy that announces, and we're on the top
You're
of the
so
ninth
calm,
hole
dude.
here, and Tiger's hoping
We got
to
Jim
get,
down at the ninth.
2
What's going down
strokes,
there, Jim? Oh yeah, thanks, Frank. We got 10 coming up on a par 4 here. He's about 125 out. I think he's going with a pitching wedge.
Really hoping to get this one in
Beautiful
here in
shot.
2 strokes. I'll
We
take
got
a pepperoni and sausage, please.
We got 6 mile an hour headwind. He's gonna have to put some spin on that ball.
And they always have that like really soothing European accent, whether
Yeah.
it be British or whatever the hell it
That's
is.
the great thing about that PGA.
Yes,
fucking game.
Charles.
It's
Oh,
like-
the voices are so good.
It's very relaxing.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how accents affect how you receive like content? Like I think any sort of outrageous content coming from an Australian accent is just that much better.
Agreed. Actually, Australian/New Zealand.
Yeah,
they should just make like alarm tones that are just like Australians yelling about something.
They have
Get up.
Yeah, if you use your government-issued Amazon Alexa bug that you leave in your room, you can get different ringtones to wake you up. Like one of them is the what do they call it now? It's the World Tour, right? Those guys now.
Oh,
used to be Top Gear, right?
Yeah.
You can get those guys just hollering at Grand Tour. Yeah,
I did that, but they're actually too loud and they're talking too much, so it's impossible to turn off.
Did you know you could turn it down?
You can turn it down, but their voices like interrupt you trying to talk.
Because it's trying to hear.
I've gotten into full-on arguments with those guys in the morning, like, shut the fuck up and turn off the alarm, for fuck's sake. And you gotta get up and slam the mute button on it, and then you're awake. But I guess it works. It gets you out of bed, right?
All you hear is,
can't complain too much.
Boy, it's 7:25. Time to get up, dickhead.
They just start screaming, wake up, wake up, wake up on one of the
Trip
parts.
on the Bobby.
Yell about the Bobby.
Trip on the Bobby.
My wake up alarms.
Alienating our New Zealand and Australian audience.
The alarms I've had on my phone for the past, I don't know, probably a couple of years, alternate between, oh my gosh, which one is it? I'll find it eventually. Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. We've got the Friday by Rebecca Black. And we have Sicko Mode by Travis Scott.
Oh my god.
You wake up to these things?
Yeah, why?
I had Blinding Lights on mine for the longest time.
Does Sicko Mode really get you in the mood for the day or what?
Honestly, I'll just like sit in my car, like, because it goes through Spotify. And so then when I get in the car, it auto connects and it just starts playing it. And so then I'll just like vibe like the rest of the song, and it kind of
just vibe into Sicko Mode at
That's
7 in the morning.
Nick just wakes up. He just like comes up vertically, and he's
heading
wearing
up to his dream
Yeezys
job
and aviators because Sicko Mode played this morning.
Exactly.
Yeah, just have a shuffle, and it
swagger.
just like starts your day off a certain way. It's like
I come into the office. I'm like, I took half a Xan, 13 hours till I land. I was out like a light.
come and smelling
Like
like
a
weed.
That is a banger.
It is a banger, 100%.
Say what you want about
Certified Hood
Sicko
classic.
Mode was on again this
Say what
morning.
you want
I
about
see.
Travis Scott. He can compose a song.
I do like
That's
the
for
idea
sure.
of a guy who is just like extremely effective at his job, like so beyond reproach, basically, but just who comes in every morning just
He's got
reeking
a few
of weed,
quirks.
like just absolutely
Reeking of
blazed
weed.
out of his mind. But
Yeah.
like he's their highest performer that they have,
Yeah.
and so they have
Talking
no
about-
choice.
JBL clip speaker cuffed onto his jacket, playing Sicko Mode.
Going the whole time, never turns it off.
High fiving everyone who doesn't want to be high fived.
Yeah.
God, if somebody came into my office in the morning to high five me, I'd be like, "What the fuck is going
What
on?
the fuck are you doing?
Did you quit?"
Yeah, did you quit?
Who died?
I was never a huge fan of the high five or the fist bump. They often happen to me as someone's leaving a room, and I don't notice them leaving until the very last minute when they're like behind me, still trying to get the fist bump, and you got to do the awkward like elbow tucked in back and then backhand fist bump them. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Dude.
To catch
Not
him on
at all.
To catch him on the fadeaway.
I just alert everyone.
draw you
I'm
a diagram,
super white
buddy.
and just give the strongest, most in-your-face handshake. Because I'm like, bro, if we go for the fist bump, I'm gonna mess it up. Because I don't know if you do the slap hit or if you're just trying to hit.
I feel like the
you're
pandemic
doing
probably
slap.
Kind of a
killed
hit
the
and quit.
handshake
Yeah,
in a number of places. I feel like here in the
Oh.
Midwest, it's probably still going to be, people are going to do handshakes, but I honestly think that in a lot of places, the handshake is kind of dead.
Dude, they do they do like the butterfly grab and then the hit. That's pretty common. Do you know what I'm talking
Butterfly
about?
grab.
Like
Where you
Yeah,
go,
where
you
go up
hand
and
in
You
down.
get in the
Yeah,
lock thumbs, right?
Yeah,
and then
you
you
lock
pull
'em.
back and
lock and hit.
That's
ever
what,
do,
that's what your move
Explode the
should
Rock?
be, Elliot, is you just like become a CEO that like does those
Brutal.
type of handshakes.
I want zero responsibility, so I will never pursue
Elliot, you should be the
anything.
boss that
Yeah,
makes it a requirement to have a secret handshake with each one of your employees, and they all have to be different.
you could be the cool CEO that has a new funny tie each Friday.
I like that.
But only Friday.
Every time the review comes out, it's like, do you remember the handshake? Do you want that fucking bonus?
Got 2% of their yearly raise just riding on that handshake.
Yeah, my boss is great. It's just this one really weird thing.
The most important thing, though.
Yeah.
You got one tie for when you're going to ask people to come in on Saturdays. And so then whenever they see that one, the office morale just takes a plummet.
Like, I like that.
Oh, fuck. He's got smiley faces on.
Smiley face tie, big cheery grin that they never see. And I guess who's coming in on Saturday? All of you.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had to wear a tie for a job?
I do right now.
Fuck no.
You have to?
Yeah, only on Mondays though. I also need to wear a suit
Why?
jacket. Yeah.
Why only on Mondays?
On Monday?
Yeah, elaborate.
I don't know. I don't have an answer as to why. Just
What
only on
would happen
Mondays.
if you didn't?
Because
Then
Tuesday
have
is
to go get
pajama
one.
day,
No,
or
then-
what? Like,
Then the boss gets mad at you. Like I don't have an answer as to why.
Do they?
That's
I-
bizarre.
Have you ever had like inspections or anything on Mondays? There must be an event where like they might have someone come by on Mondays and they want
don't-
everyone ready.
They don't inspect or anything. There hasn't been anyone who like has came into our office. To be fair, I started working during COVID, so I don't know if like normally there is, you know.
Oh, true.
But yeah, and if you don't like wear your suit and tie on Mondays, then the boss won't say anything to you, but he'll tell his secretary to ream you out, and then she'll come around and you aren't up to dress code today. It's like,
it would
"Alright,
make
buddy."
sense if it was more than just one day. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only Monday.
That's odd.
I would
Wait,
think that they
so-
have clients coming in and they want everyone presentable for that sort of situation, but it doesn't make any sense if you're not getting anyone in.
As a
right?
regular thing, as a standing tie obligation. Yeah.
I feel like if they had for some reason a bunch of clients in on a Monday every day and that was the reason, wouldn't you be able to tell that I feel like these guys only dress up on Mondays?
Yeah, there's
Because it's
shirts
like
are,
everyone's just kind of
untucked and
it's
shit.
like they got like kind of a weird, almost wrinkly suit jacket that they probably just pulled out of their car.
In their desk drawer.
Yeah, in their desk drawer.
It reeks of weed.
It's got a JBL
Yes.
clip speaker attached to it playing sicko mode.
That guy's our highest performer.
My thing
Our
is,
highest performer.
I think I was,
Look at him fucking go.
JBL, please sponsor us.
every day.
Fuck.
Oh,
Do
God
we
damn
want
it.
to talk about movies?
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Have you guys seen Squid Game yet?
I want to
Son
see
of
it.
a
I
bitch.
finished
It's,
it
it's
last
on my
night.
list.
It's good. Not as good as everyone is saying that it is, but it's good.
I'm
What'd
just
you think,
surprised
Charles?
that something that gory is like getting into the public
That's-
#1 show.
That was
Well,
going to be
people love
my
that
thing
stuff.
with it. Is that it's a very good representation of the Korean thriller kind of genre, horror genre. I don't know
Like
how
Train to
many.
Busan and stuff.
Yeah, all those
I-
are fantastic.
If it taught me
Parasite, that's
anything, though,
good.
it's like I don't trust Koreans. You know.
Well, context.
the
Ben.
takeaway.
Only
Please
North
add
Koreans.
context.
Well, context. If you've seen the show, you wouldn't trust them either.
Okay. In the context of Squid Game, I liked the music. It was nice. There were some good ominous tracks that were playing. I thought it was a good show, but people are way overhyping it. I think.
I think it was good because they did a really good job of keeping the tension really high, which is a key thing in these Korean films. But
Oh, no, that was one amazing thing about it is you were always to a degree on the edge of your seat or having a question in your mind of what's going on or
it's one of those stories that is pretty it gets, I think it's really popular now because it gets people who don't really want to watch the really gnarly Korean films that are like this, that do give that vibe. This is a much more obtainable kind of theme, I guess, that still gives you the same kind of it's a very anxious show to watch. You get, I don't know, if you're
Palms
a
are
nervous
sweaty.
person. Yeah,
I think
that's
people like
that's,
that. though.
That's what I'm saying.
now.
And all
You
these
look at
Korean
all
films
the-
are super good at it. It's just that some of them are really fucking gory and kind of hard to watch if you're not a horror film fanatic.
I think the public is shifting towards really appreciating that sort of style. If you look at all the new, there's all the good ones, all the new superhero shows, they're all getting gritty and realistic and dark and showing gore
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
and
Boys
that
is
kind
coming
of
back
thing.
soon, right?
Yeah,
and then
season
there's there's all the housewives or whoever that likes the murder mystery stuff, just the murder porn stuff, and it's becoming more mainstream, I think, and I'm with it.
No,
I like more real television.
A lot of that is because it's on platforms that don't censor.
Yeah.
TV you could not show that stuff on TV, but you can show it online because no one gives a fuck.
Which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the first ones that really
real
did that
stuff.
Like when who really like first pushed the envelope? Because I'm thinking like the most recent
Big
wave
Mouth.
was probably Big Mouth was more recent. I'm thinking like Deadpool, like the original Deadpool, as far as like the superhero stuff goes. They really
I'm
took
thinking
a
like
risk.
streaming wise, like when like
no, but like, I'm just talking about the general trend. Like
you're talking about the straw that kind of broke the camel's back when everyone realized, you know what, superhero genre is way better when it's not quite as fantasy.
Or some characters work a lot better in that darker light. Kind of, you can also say that with like the newer like Dark Knight and all that stuff too.
I mean, that's true. The tone of that was very dark, but it was still PG-13, right? Like they didn't make the jump to the R rating. I feel like Deadpool was the first one that like jumped to R rated, and everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's gonna succeed," but it did.
It works also because Ryan Reynolds was charismatic as hell, and like,
he's funny. I like love and hate that guy. I don't know.
He's an attractive man. I'm too proud to admit that. Yeah. Where situation's a little different, he and I might make some beautiful babies.
Another attractive man, Jake Gyllenhaal, star of the recent Netflix thriller The Guilty.
You mean Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
What?
I think it was from him in an interview talking about someone, the actual pronunciation or something. Yeah.
I watched that.
You okay?
Yeah, I put that in there because I watched that this morning. Have you guys heard anything about it?
I watched it over the weekend as well.
You did?
Yeah.
I liked it.
I did as well, yeah.
I really liked that because it's another one of those like super raw. So backstory, it's about a guy he's a police officer in LA, and he's like, you kind of figure out that he's like on trial for like something that happened like a few months ago, like, but he's on dispatch now. So he's taking all the 911 calls like for the time being. And it pretty much is like, you know, he's got like his hearing tomorrow for all the shit that happened, and then it just turns into like a really rough day where he gets a call from a chick who's like being kidnapped and stuff like that, and it's pretty gnarly. I liked it a lot because it's one of those movies that it brings kids into it, which really fucked me up when it comes to movies. Like, as soon as it's like anything that has to do with like kids and like, you know, parents coming home, stuff like that. But it was really well done because a lot of it's just phone calls, and the audio, like the audio mastering and how they integrated like what he's a patrol officer, so he knows what a highway stop sounds like or a traffic stop sounds like. So it kind of goes through while you're watching it, and he'll be hearing it, and he's nervous because he's trying to figure out what's going on and whatnot. But it struck a good tone that like I haven't seen since like the End of Watch kind of like cop movies.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is just really good.
I love him in
there
that stuff.
are a
It's
couple
fantastic.
of times throughout the movie where you feel like he's on the verge of breaking down, and he doesn't quite. And then,
that's
like,
what I noticed. That I was waiting for him to just fucking get in his car, and we're having a different scene except for like The Office. But no, they kept it pretty consistent.
He carries the movie for the most part. I will say the the voice acting from the female lead, I won't say anything more than that, I guess, but like the woman who you hear most from is very chilling as well.
Yes.
Like there's one line in particular that just like sent chills down my back when I heard it, because it was just so good.
And we can't really say much more without spoiling it, because
really
like the twist in it is like, what?
But it's very good. Charles and I both are fans.
You ready for a hot take?
Okay.
You know what else Jake Gyllenhaal is really good in? Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
I thought you were going to say Brokeback Mountain.
No, I haven't seen that one actually. But Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Jake Gyllenhaal plays Dastan, who is a Prince of Persia, as you could have guessed.
The Prince of Persia.
Yeah, it's a little. There's a certain part. It's just like the video game storyline, pretty much, as a good guideline. It's a little cheesy in certain parts, but I thought it was just a phenomenal fantasy movie as a standalone. And you got was it Gemma Arterton in it as well?
Oh yeah,
an absolute fox.
Yeah. Speaking of
like, throw a picture of her up on the
when we were talking about Squid Game and how like the direction of things are going when it comes to like some of these movies and TV shows, one show that surprised the shit out of me, excuse me, that new Loki show.
Oh yeah,
that stuff is fucking great. That is like I don't know. It's such a cool. I like the whole multiverse thing that's going. Like we all know that MCU is going to the multiverse. It's kind of like, you know, with all the Spider-Man shit going on. It's pretty blatant. But this Loki show, it did a really they just brought it back. You know, kind of took off all the like the seriousness from like Endgame and stuff like that, and a lot of that show is just like characters talking, and it gives a really good it's a nice character development for Loki as a character, because through the MCU he didn't really do shit, but now
he was just like a one-dimensional villain in basically, the movies basically.
But now he was probably one of my most favorite characters because of this show, because it's just like it fleshed him out so well, but it's a completely different timeline. This doesn't really spoil it, but I give people like a good reference of like what the idea of the show is. Like the Infinity Stones are literally in like a desk drawer in this like timeline, I'd say. It's pretty crazy. Like,
yeah, well, there's multiple Infinity Stones because of the multiple
dimensions but like
timelines, because they actually go to different or they go back in time to get the Infinity Stones from different time periods.
They're dealing with an entirely different like locus of power, basically. Like the power in the show is so much greater in a sense than the power, but it's so mundane. That's the thing. It's all about like bureaucracy and how mundane it is, and like, but also how much like evil there can be in bureaucracy, and like, I don't know. The Owen Wilson is in it
His
too.
character is great.
I've always loved him.
He's pretty good. He's really good in Loki. He's like very understated and just kind of quiet, but like
he plays a normal guy so well.
Yeah,
like a normal guy in this totally not normal situation.
Yeah, I watched WandaVision. I haven't watched this one yet. I'm sure I'll like this one. If I had to compare them with like DC's lineup with Doom Patrol and like Titans. Like I gotta choose DC. Like it's more gritty and it just feels more real to me. Like I know it's a fantasy setting and it's not gonna be real, but like it's just more relatable, I suppose, is the better. You can see human emotions. You can see the emotions, because most of the, at least in Doom Patrol, these are all heroes that have been through horrible, tragic shit, and you can kind of see yourself in some of these characters, and it makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
You guys watch Suicide Squad, the most recent one?
Loved it. Yeah, that was great.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. That was pretty good. James Gunn knows what he's doing. It's interesting because I think he's the first one who has had a crossover where first he was on Marvel movies and now he's on DC movies, or I don't know if he's permanently, but like he's done both basically, and he did well with the R rating on the Suicide Squad. That was a funny movie.
I think they should all be at that R rating. Like they don't need to all show titties, but like the gore level where it was at, the language, like especially for me, like language and the right amount of gore, not too much. Don't just do murder porn, but like the right amount of realism, it just makes a movie.
You know what movie I'm excited about, gentlemen?
What's
fucking Dune.
Dune's gonna be sweet.
I hope it is, because that's a big franchise to do something good with.
I'm pretty sure they're planning a sequel already because it's had a pretty strong showing internationally
all
already.
I've heard is the book is, or the first movie is half the first book. So
your demographics got to be pretty large, right? You got to wide net because you're gonna have all the original Dune readers that are gonna want to come see the movie now, and plus like all sci-fi nerds ever are gonna want to come see it.
Or the people who have
Of all
only
ages.
ever seen the original Dune movie, which I don't know if any of you guys have seen the original Dune movie, but that shit is wild for like 1978 or something like that.
So is it a remake of the movie, or is it another? Is it a reboot of the franchise?
It's the latter.
Okay, reboot.
Yeah,
that's good. I'm so sick of just remakes. Like, use the same franchise, use the same universe, and just try again, do it again.
Well, the big thing with the first movie, like since in the time it came out, it was, I don't know if you watch it sometime or like click through it or see some of the scenes, because the amount of like money and special effects and practical effects that went into it for the time it's just insane. It's also like a 2.5 hour long movie with a very dense plot.
Yeah, I'm sure I would enjoy it. I just don't want to see it completely just remade 1-to-1 ratio, right? I want to see something new in the genre or in the franchise.
I think it's going to be great for people who like have always wanted to get into Dune, and then they see the book and it's like, damn, that bitch, that's like it. Like, I've always wanted to read it, but that bitch long. It's kind of the same thing with Dune that people get. But it's like that quintessential cornerstone of science fiction kind of. I like that it's getting a lot of good attention. I hope it just doesn't fall flat, because trailers can look sick and movies cannot be sick. But it's like done by my favorite director that I've realized that I've liked, so I'll be okay.
I think we've had this discussion before, but you've seen Prisoners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the most emotionally gut-punching movies of all time.
For sure.
Another good one for you listeners to check out. Denis Villeneuve.
So that's your homework for this week. Watch Prisoners and stay tuned next week where we talk about it.
Yeah, and I think in the meantime, we can go ahead and leave the listeners with a little bit of Biggie Smalls.
It wasn't nothing stopping them. What the rest of these niggas do? Man, the motherfuckers was ready for anything. The niggas was packing burners. The niggas was ready to fight. Whatever they had to do, Holmes. The niggas was on the real flip mode. Holmes. They was coming out like a motherfucker. The nigga was amped. He was like, come on.
It's not him rapping.
The train, right?
It's him talking.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there it is. I don't know what I expected, but I guess that's for this. I'll see you next week.
To make the motherfucking brain warm, a strange form, something kind of lyrical. Biggie the bastard,
Baseball fields, my feelings feel as I grip the steering wheel. You've listened to the Nut Zone. Here's a bit of Midwest emo. Whoa. Thanks for listening.